What's up guys, John here. I just sold my condo in Florida. We just closed less than a week ago. In fact, I drove from Ohio to my condo in South Florida, got all my things and drove back, just got back. And so looking at what's happening in Florida's real estate market is something we should all pay attention to, because the last few years there was a mania. Everybody wanted to be in Boca, in Delray, in Miami, in Aventura. They wanted to be in St. Pete Beach. They wanted to be all these, prime areas.
Hundreds of thousands of Americans headed to Florida, many drawn by the state's lower taxes and sunny skies.
Every year, more than 330,000 people are moving to Florida, according to state economists.
In 2022 alone, more than 700,000 people moved there.
But what's happened since then has been an insurance crisis and a special assessment nightmare that's coming to wreck values all throughout Florida.
Florida's ongoing property insurance crisis.
Homeowners are getting crushed with rising insurance costs.
The cost of homeowners insurance in Florida is going through the roof.
Insurance companies in Florida asked the state for more than a 50% rate hike.
Now, I sold for a variety of reasons that I'm going to get into in this video, but I think what we're going to start to see next is tens of thousands of other people doing the same exact thing. I think we're going to see a race to the bottom in valuations on these condos, and I think we're just going to see overall a major shift in the perception of the beauty of Florida and owning condos in Florida. I mean, for example, last year I had a knock on my door. I did a video talking about this. Florida insurance company tried seizing my home. This is what happened. It was absolutely crazy to witness. It's one thing to see on CNN or CNBC, and you hear about these stories. It's another to actually go through it. I'm sitting at home, I get a knock on the door, and who is it? The head of the HOA. She hands me a letter, almost like you've been served. She hands me this letter, and I open it up, and she says, John, bad news. The insurance company said, after the Miami building that fell years ago, due to these changes, we have to do upgrades to maintain coverage on the property. Well, I said, well, what does this look like? Well, we have to do a new driveway, a new roof, new walkways, new handrails, new siding, and she went on and on and on about all the new changes that have to be done to the building for us to get coverage. And she said it's about 2.1, maybe 2.2 million dollars to do all these changes. Well, my part was 20 grand. So she said, you got two options. You either strike the check for 20, or you can pay, I forget what the monthly cost, something like $450 a month for 4 years. I opted into paying up front because I didn't think I was going to stay there for the next 4 years, and selling a condo with an increased HOA with a special assessment would probably be a hard sale. So I paid up front to basically clear the situation. But then, about 8 or 9 months later, I did this video. Miami is now hell. Everyone's going broke. Full tour of the collapse. Now, in Miami specifically, there's 40,000 vacant apartments and condos. It is absolutely unreal. If you go through Brickell or any of these hot spots, it's one skyscraper and crane in the sky after the next. So many apartments and condos available to rent and purchase. So much so, rents are coming down. Condo prices are coming down. I started looking at this after this video and I said, you know what? What are the odds that the value of this condo that I purchased isn't going to follow suit? And that's why I sold. Started looking at the writing on the wall. I think there's major opportunity to invest in Florida, but I think condos are extremely risky right now, considering the fact that a lot of people that own condos are retirees on fixed incomes. How are they going to be able to afford the increased insurance cost, the special assessments, all these upgrades to their properties? The inflation we're all living through, how can they all afford this? I don't think they can. And I think we're going to start to see a lot of pressure on these buildings. Now, I saw this. It says it's excessive. Miami condo owners slapped with shocking $21 million special assessment fee for repairs to their 16-year-old building, some owners being milked for over 40 grand. One of my buddies owns a condo in Miami Beach. His HOA went up over 40% last 3 years. This is actually happening. This isn't just some fear-monger headline. This is really going on. I'm hearing of special assessments in Aventura over $200,000 a unit. It's absolutely unbelievable. Imagine being seriously injured and missing out on millions in compensation just because you didn't know where to turn. Many law firms settle for low-ball offers, leaving victims with far less than they deserve. It's frustrating, unfair, and sometimes they even charge you before they win. That's where Morgan & Morgan comes in. America's largest injury law firm fights to get the clients the compensation they deserve. And the best part, you pay nothing unless they win. They've won $12 million in Florida, 34 times more than the insurance offer, and $26 million in Philadelphia, 40 times more than the insurance offer. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome. Features no upfront fees unless you win. Over 1,000 attorneys and a dedicated legal team to fight for you. They handle everything for you, and it's incredibly easy to start your claim. Your injury could be worth millions. You can visit the link in the description box below this video to start your claim today. Condo fees jumped 60% in South Florida in the past 5 years. Why higher costs are ahead? Now, you take into consideration that insurance companies have yet to price in the damage and devastation from Milton and Hurricane Helene. I went to these areas and I started driving up and down the coast looking at the damage. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, you're talking about schools, churches, retail, condos, apartment buildings, hotels, you name it, homes. Everything is just parked right out in the middle of the street. I even interviewed a lady and I said, what happened to your property? And she said, we had 30 feet of water in the house. I have no insurance. No insurance. I even went, before that situation, I even went to another pocket in Sarasota, and I was interviewing people that had a similar type of situation with 3 feet of water, and they were quoting between $200,000 and $275,000 to fix their home. It just depends on the materials in which they use for the finishes, the end finishes. Start to think about this. These insurance companies, they're in a business to make money. When they're talking about, insurance premiums going to $11,759, it's the most expensive state in the country. You have to ask yourself, how many people can afford $1,000 a month for their homeowner's insurance? That's then, before these disasters that just unfolded. It would not surprise me to see in 2028 insurance being $18,000, $19,000 a year. It might sound far-fetched, but did you know the average insurance policy in 2019 was $1,988? So it's increased 500% according to this number. All I typed in was how much will Florida's homeowner insurance be in 2024 or go up in 2024, right? So it went from $1,988 to $11,759 in basically a 5-year window. How is it not going to go to $17,000, $18,000, right? And how is that not going to impact the condo market inside of Florida? Now, I think that if you're thinking about investing in real estate and you're like, hey, look, I love Fort Lauderdale. I love this pocket of Miami or this area. You have to ask yourself, what will the buyer pool look like in the next year or two? Right? It's going to be investors. That's what it's going to be. It's not going to be small business owners looking to, jump into that type of situation. It's going to be investors looking for a deal. And I think they're going to be able to find a lot of these deals all throughout the coast of Florida. I think it's going to be one of the greatest opportunities to, to invest in real estate. I think it's going to be one of the areas where you're going to start to see a lot of pressure from these homeowners. I mean, this, for example, condo prices in Florida are collapsing. Seller has cut price $472,000 on this 40% reduction from the original list, down all the way to what they bought it for in 2020 before the spike. So listed from $1.187 million to $715,000. Now my situation was in 2020, $775,000, right? So this still didn't sell. It's listed or a price change. So my situation was very fortunate. I ended up selling my place in LA at the height of the market in 2021. We missed the height of the market by like 60 days, 45 days. And then I rented a place inside of Florida, in Delray Beach, in a prime area. And I ended up coming across an incredible opportunity from a lady that essentially inherited the property. She was distressed. She didn't want the property. She just wanted a quick closing. We were able to close in 14 days and pick up this property for basically nothing. Like, it was the only way I would buy something in Florida because I was looking at the prices. Everything was crazy. If I couldn't steal it, I wasn't buying it. And fortunately, it kind of worked out for me later. But you have to ask yourself, how many people are going to be able to, get out of their condos that they bought in 2021, in 2022, in 2025, and 2026? I don't think that many. So if you are thinking about investing in real estate in Florida, I'd be very cautious of condos. Just in general, I'd be very, very cautious of condos. I think the assessments are just getting started. I think the insurance crisis is it's going to get harder and harder. And I think there's going to be way more opportunity to go out there and buy a house or buy, a special piece of property in a high-risk insurance area. Now, people might say, why would you buy in a high-risk area? Well, it's going to get harder to get insurance on those properties and mortgages on those properties. Even the CEO of Redfin, Glenn Kelman, made a prediction saying it's going to get harder to get insurance and mortgages in these high-risk areas. Well, you'd say, John, why would you want to buy in one of those areas? Well, it's a smaller pool of available buyers and an influx of sellers. Supply and demand dictate and determine pricing. You're going to be able to go out there and likely pick up deals with less competition. That's why. And I think there's going to be a lot of that in like Boca, Boca Raton. There's a lot of these canals, Fort Lauderdale, all along the coast there, all along the coast of the Gulf Coast. There's just going to be a lot of people looking to sell. And I think a great opportunity for those that have the cash, have liquidity, have maybe an online business. They're looking for maybe tax savings anyway. Maybe they're doing well. They're living in New York City or California. They're saying, look, I can go there, get no income tax. I could basically steal a property, get it for cheap. Maybe I pay all cash. I don't need insurance. And this is my home base. It's my homestead. And that's their move. I think that could be a really big opportunity. But that's why I sold. I literally did the drive in a few days, drove out there, got everything, drove back. But that's the reason I sold. I just think that there's a lot more downside risk in the short term and a lot more upside opportunity for single family homes in Florida when things start to, kind of turn here. Let's have a conversation about this below. Do you think that condo prices will be going down or going up inside of Florida? Do you think I sold at the right time? And do you think retirees are going to be able to withstand and absorb these special assessments and increased costs? Let's talk about it. And for more information on today's video sponsor, you can click the link in the description just below, and I'll catch you next video.